Hey everyone, it's Jenna from Cruise Blog. Today we're going to discuss whether or not the food on MSC Cruises is as bad as they say. Let's get into it. The food is inedible. It just keeps getting worse. MSC has the worst food in the cruise industry. If there's anything I've learned from the internet, it's that people love to complain. And there is no shortage of complaints about MSC Cruises food online. MSC Cruises, a European cruise line, has recently gained popularity in the North American cruise market, but the cruise line receives constant criticism on their food offerings. While everyone has different tastes, it was hard to ignore comments about the lack of dining venues, limited food choices, and flavorless food on board. Despite these complaints, I booked a cruise and remained hopeful that MSC would offer food comparable to other mass-market cruise lines. In the past year, I've cruised on MSC 2 separate times in order to gain a better understanding of the cruise line's food. Throughout over 40 meals that I've had on MSC cruise ships, I have tasted everything from breakfast pizza to tiramisu. Here are my honest thoughts on MSC's food and whether or not the stereotypes about disgusting food were true. First, MSC's pizza is by far the most delicious pizza I've ever had at sea. Pizza is offered nearly 24/7 on MSC ships, with breakfast pizza in the morning followed by savory choices for lunch, dinner, and nighttime snacks. Everything from a classic margarita pizza to pepperoni, 4 cheese, marinara, and raspberry white chocolate breakfast pizza was available. MSC's pizza reminded me of the flavorful pies I often order in Naples, Italy, which is home to some of the world's most famous pizzerias. Having such incredible pizza available is a good backup plan when nothing else sounds appealing, and I definitely took advantage of the endless pizza during my time on board. One complaint I heard on MSC was that the same food would be offered every day, but this wasn't the case on my cruise. I heard many people complain that MSC never changes any of the food offerings in the buffet. As someone who often prefers eating in the buffet to the dining room, these reviews were disappointing to say the least. I was not looking forward to having the same options every day. Once I got on board though, I realized that there was much more diversity in the buffet than I initially expected. While some items stayed the same, such as the pizza station, salad bar, and hamburger station, other areas differed. One day there might be cheese tortellini, a taco bar, vegetable curry, and pork chops, whereas another day could see spicy arrabbiata pasta, roast beef, and cod fillets. The smaller buffet on MSC Seaside, located near the pool deck, was more likely to have the same choices every day, as it caters to families looking for quick options like chicken nuggets, nachos, and hot dogs. The large buffet, on the other hand, had more than enough options to keep meals varied throughout the week, whether you craved a protein-rich salad or chocolatey dessert. Although I enjoyed MSC's buffet overall, there were a few items that were not as hot as I would have liked. Several times in the buffet, I put food on my plate only to later find out the food was lukewarm. Whether a pasta dish, piece of fish, or vegetable stir-fry, I was disappointed in the food's temperature several times during my sailing. When eating at a buffet, food safety is of utmost importance, and I can only hope the food was rotated frequently if it was not being served. Although 95% of the meals I had on board were served hot, there were a few that were not. Next, for a European cruise line, the food catered to Americans in the North American market. Another common issue I heard about the food on MSC was that it was catered toward European tastes, and that Americans would not find the food options appealing. On my first MSC cruise in Europe, I did notice menus catered toward European tastes more so than Americans. You wouldn't find desserts like apple pie on the menu, and many main courses were traditionally Italian in taste, such as offering eggplant parmesan over chicken parmesan. Nonetheless, I found the food on my MSC cruise from North America to be catered to American tastes. The main dining room menus in particular were vastly different, with items like New York strip steak, French onion soup, and roasted chicken with mashed potatoes. There were also more ethnic cuisine options on my MSC cruise from North America compared to the cruise in Europe. Whether lentil curry or pork dumplings, I found this to be a nice perk of MSC's North American cruise menus. I will say that there were not as many complimentary venues, so this led to bigger crowds in the buffet. One complaint that rang true on my MSC cruise was that the buffet can get extremely crowded. Unlike some other cruise lines, MSC does not offer a wide range of complimentary dining venues. On most ships, guests can choose from the buffet or the dining room. Other options, such as specialty restaurants, come with an extra charge. In comparison, some Royal Caribbean and Carnival Cruise Line ships have complimentary tacos, burgers, hot dogs, and more, meaning that you have more options than just the buffet. Due to this, thousands of passengers tend to flock to the buffet at the same time. Peak meal times, such as a quick 8 a.m. breakfast before disembarking in port, see the highest, often overwhelming, crowds. Crowding in the buffet was something I did not enjoy on either of my MSC cruises. Even though MSC Seaside had both a large and small buffet, crowds could still be expected throughout the day. That being said, escaping the crowds for breakfast in the main dining room is an awesome choice. By day 5 of my MSC Seaside cruise, I was growing impatient with the crowds in the buffet at breakfast. As an alternative, I decided to try the main dining room for breakfast, as it is included in the cruise fare. As soon as I entered the dining room, I couldn't help but notice the distinct difference compared to the rowdy buffet. I was immediately shown a table and, before I could even sit down, was offered a pastry from a tray of tempting sweets. Another waiter appeared not even a second later to offer me coffee, and a third immediately came to the table to take our drink orders. Not only was the service immaculate, but the food was great too. It was a much more relaxing way to start my day on board. Something else I enjoyed about the food on my MSC cruises was that specialty restaurants were priced lower than on other mass-market cruise lines. Specialty restaurants, unlike complimentary food venues, come with an extra cost. It's not uncommon to spend over $50 or $60 per person to eat at a specialty restaurant on a cruise ship, and the high cost often turns me away from the idea. On MSC, however, I noticed lower prices at specialty restaurants. On my recent MSC cruise, I booked a hibachi meal for around $40. Considering the entertainment aspect of the meal along with the delectable cuisine, I was pleased with the value. On other cruise lines such as Royal Caribbean, it's not uncommon to pay around $50 or $60 for hibachi. I found the quality comparable between the two cruise lines, and MSC's hibachi restaurant included even more courses than Royal Caribbean's. Other specialty venues such as Ola Tacos and Cantina on MSC World Europa were equally affordable. At Ola, I indulged in all-you-can-eat Mexican food for just $20, a total steal compared to the price of specialty dining on other cruise lines. Something else I liked about the food was that several dishes remained on the menu each evening, and this is a safe option for picky eaters. Although most courses change in the main dining room each evening on an MSC cruise, a few items are offered daily. Dishes like pasta with tomato sauce, roasted chicken, steak, and French onion soup are available every evening on cruises from North America. Having this choice of classic dishes is a great option for picky eaters, as there's always something to fall back on if the rotating menu is not appealing. So, in conclusion, although everyone has their own preferences, I found that MSC offered excellent food options on board. After spending 2 weeks on MSC cruise ships, I found most of the negative comments about food to be exaggerated. While I've had a few meals here and there that I did not enjoy, the vast majority of food on both of my cruises was excellent. As a mass-market cruise line, I'm not expecting the most luxurious 5-star cuisine, but for the price I paid, I was more than satisfied with the dining options. When compared to cruise lines like Princess and Royal Caribbean, MSC certainly has fewer dining venues available, but there is still more than enough food to enjoy around the ship. As far as food is concerned, I wouldn't hesitate to sail with MSC again. If you were hesitant to book an MSC cruise because of the food, I'd say you have nothing to worry about. And there you have it. That is my review of the food on MSC Cruises. Have you tried MSC before, and what did you think of the food on board? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, happy cruising!